What is happening, everybody? Welcome to episode number 33 of the Bards of Gaming podcast, where this week I'm going to be sitting down with my buddy Matt, who you may know from the Yakuza Kiwami 1 episode, to discuss Yakuza Kiwami 2. We had a fantastic time recording this episode, and I very much hope you all enjoy it. I don't really have a whole lot to say with this intro. Will be some updates coming up soon, hopefully, some cool things down the pipe about the podcast. Some things might be changing, but for the most part, things will remain the same for now. So hopefully you guys enjoy the episode. If you do like the episode, it really does help me out if you leave a leave a comment. That's a big one. And if you could subscribe or follow wherever you're listening to, that would very much help me out. So again, hope you all enjoy, and I will see you in there. All right, everybody. So this week I am joined once again by my Yakuza fan, my friend Matt. Matt, how you doing?
Good. How's it going, Rob?
I am fantastic. I have been busy as hell, and I am so glad that you were able to see what I was busy with as you play tested my game this evening. Let's not talk about the condition of it. It is rough, but
Hey, for a weekend project, it's pretty good from my point of view.
I appreciate that. Maybe I'll open up like a review section on my website or on my portfolio website. But anyway, this week we are actually here to talk about a game that isn't hot garbage, and that is Yakuza Kiwami 2. So
Yay, Kiwami 2.
Big yeah. This is for the ones I've played, which I mean has not increased since you and I last spoke. I'm still on 4, but this is the best one that I've played. And I know that it sets the bar.
Kiwami 2 is great.
Yeah.
I mean, like I've previously discussed, Kiwami 1 and 2 both utilize the systems within Yakuza 0, which I cannot wait for you to get to 0 because it's still probably my favorite in the series overall. But this Kiwami 2 utilizes the same system as 0. A lot of the stuff that they added to the final process of Kiwami 2 is stuff also from 0. We'll talk more about that probably in the mini games section of this, but but this is a great game. It's my favorite antagonist in the Yakuza series thus far. The Dragon of Kanzai.
The Dragon of Kansas. Dude, he's
a beast. He's so cool. Beast.
He's just so cool. I almost don't want to kick his ass.
Yeah, no. He's got Vegeta energy.
For sure.
You want this guy to not be bad anymore. You want this guy to join up with you, and he's just it's really the first time in the series that you have someone who kind of has the same energy as Kiryu.
Yeah.
And he really does. And I think he's a more aggressive version of Kiryu.
Yeah.
But it's intense every time they're both on the screen together, and every time he's on the screen by himself, he brings a lot of energy to this game.
Yeah, they're kind of like both ends of a spectrum of good and evil. Like they both. Yeah. I forget what the scale is. They're not like chaotic good. They're so Kiryu is lawful good, and then
and Ryuji Goda is lawful evil.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly what I was going with.
They have a code of honor, but they're just on two different spectrums. And Ryuji has his goals, and Kiryu is just kind of, Kiryu walked away from this lifestyle. Once again, he's dragged back into, and but he's trying to protect, the establishment that he was once a part of, and Ryuji's trying to, basically do his thing and take over.
And boy, do they really just tease you. I mean, they are just edging you with like the temptations of the fight between them. Because How many times in this game like does Kiryu or wow does Kiryu basically have a face-to-face interaction with Ryuji, only for
Oh, it's
Ryuji to be like, "I can't do this now. You're not in tip-top shape."
yeah.
Like, come on.
He only wants to fight Kiryu at his best.
Yeah, which I respect.
And
Like, you gotta love him for that.
yeah, it's awesome. It really brings the whole it really gives you that whole samurai code of honor type feeling.
Yeah.
Same thing as like, we referenced the Dragon Ball Z before with Vegeta and Goku. It kind of has that Saiyan pride energy to it as well. And like
Blonde hair and
he's
all.
a yeah, he's a bad guy. You can't help, he's part of this, he's the son of the current chairman of the Omi Alliance,
Yeah.
which we saw bits and pieces of the Omi Alliance in Yakuza 1. They were kind of, off on the side, kind of cloak and daggering, but this is like kind of the first big confrontation between the Tojo clan and the Omi Alliance.
Yeah, and you know what? This
And
this game has just it's so much more too than just the Omi Alliance and the Tojo clan. Like then
oh
you
yeah,
get the Korean mafia and like you
yeah,
know what? It just I mean we really just jumped straight into this episode. I'm not even
yeah,
gonna
no,
bother saying like you know so real quick to anybody who may be new to the show, typically what I'll do is start the episode by kind of talking to my guest and saying, how did you find this game? And, what was your experience, playing this game for the first time? I'm not going to say how you found this game because it's just, you've been a fan of the franchise forever. And
yeah.
anybody who listened to the Yakuza Kiwami 1 episode will definitely know that.
Yeah,
Um,
I literally, not to get too much into it because we said we weren't going to do it, but I literally got a friend of mine put me on his zero, and then I played zero one, and then I just kept going. I couldn't stop.
dude, these games are a rabbit hole for sure.
They are, and like it's got a little bit of everything. Like there's the crazy fights, there's the fun mini games, there's the plot is always like in this one. The game starts off, and you're immediately brought into this whole mystery. There's a flashback to the '80s where some shady shit went on, and there's pieces of the puzzle given to you, and then it warps you to modern day or at least 2006 modern day. You get brought to the present of the game, and you're immediately brought up with this mystery of who had a character is murdered. I don't know if we want to do spoilers on who's murdered right off the bat, but
I mean, that's the
I mean,
beginning of the game.
yeah, and you're literally the person that Kiryu left in charge of the Toho clan has been assassinated, and you're trying to figure out how and why this occurred.
Yeah.
And
It's
between the Omi Alliance and the Korean Mafia, and there's so many factors, just all even members of the Kamurocho police force are part of the mystery of what's going on.
Yeah. Dude, this game has so many. Like the first game had a lot of twists and a lot of things like that. This
Yeah.
game, holy shit!
Oh yeah.
Every every story mission, I swear to God, is another like left turn, just
Oh.
completely,
Oh yeah.
but in the best way possible.
Oh
It
yeah.
is so compelling.
Like and we get some really cool new characters to interact with, like Kaoru Sayama. She's the Yakuza huntress on the police force, they refer to her as.
Yeah,
She's a cool foil for Kiryu, and like she's not there. I mean, there are parts where you do have to save her, but she's not necessarily a damsel in distress type character.
yeah,
We get, once again, we get our favorite detective, Makoto Date.
absolutely. He's our
Again,
boy.
Date-san is the man. He always will be. Him in his trench coat. Um, but, and then we also get, we get to see Daigo Dojima, who's, the son of the former head of the Tojo clan.
Yep.
I don't, if I remember correctly, we don't see Daigo in the original game.
No, we don't see him at all in the first one.
This is his introduction to the series. Without the involvement of Yakuza Zero prequel stuff.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like a lost soul in the underworld of Kamurocho, and
And I mean, like,
we
how old is he though? He's like in his mid 20s, late 20s. He's kind of
yeah.
he's kind of just a shithead, who's out there, drinking, clubbing, doing his thing, like a lot of people in their 20s are. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
he's faced with reality very quickly, and basically doesn't want to accept it. But then Kiryu forces him to accept it
He's like,
politely.
Listen here, bud, you got to get your shit together."
Yeah, he's like, you're either going to be the one to run your father's legacy, or you're going to fucking fuck everything up.
Yeah. But
But
and on the and we also, which is, it's also cool because we get to meet his mother,
yeah,
the wife of the former head of the Chojo clan, who's a very strong female character in this. Like, and just the other recurring faces. You get Haruka, who, fucking Kirya's niece. She's like one of my favorite characters throughout the series because she's such a strong emotional constant in Kirya's life. When you
shit, like,
have
yeah,
the shit that goes on in these games where people are getting gunned down and taken out, but Haruka's, his thing that keeps him, you know, you know, uh,
grounded,
pulled
I
down
guess.
to earth, yeah, grounded.
Yeah,
And you get we have another appearance of the Florist of Psy in this game, who's a great character. He's the Underworld Network guy.
oh, dude, he's like the king of the underworld. I mean,
Yep.
we have quite a few recurring characters, like Futoshi Shimano and all of his glory, and you can't mistake, you can't forget about Goro Majima. He's
No, Majima is great. It's also great to not have to deal with him trying to fucking kick your ass in this game.
Yeah, he's actually a
He-
friend again, finally,
he's just your buddy, with his Majima Construction Company.
which is the worst side mission, like, mini game. Oh my god, that. All right. If we're gonna follow the typical path even remotely of how I typically run this show, which I don't care if we do or don't. It's honestly, let's just have fun with this episode. It's late, I'm tired, you're tired, let's have fun. So typically, again, if you're new to the show, what I like to do is kind of, we in the beginning, after we're done kind of telling our history lesson about where we know the game from and how we got into it, we'll kind of start ranting off like what we don't like about the game, and then later on we'll start talking about what we do like about the game, kind of to end things off on a happier note. But real quick, literally I think the only thing that I don't like about this game is that fucking mini game. It's how you can go ahead and describe it, please. I'm no.
So I mean, it's a recycled thing, and I mean, you haven't gotten there yet because you're still on Yakuza 4, but it's the clan creator minigame battle system from Yakuza 6, and it's recommissioned for building the uh building the area outside of the forests. You basically have to protect your members are fighting to protect the building area from invasion of other NPC.
Yeah, it's almost like a tower defense, but
Almost.
it's no, it's a real-time strategy. That's really kind of what it is. Think like kind of like Halo Wars base defense, sort of,
Yeah,
except
yeah.
you're
No,
controlling
you're
a
right.
lot of Yakuza members that are just running in with bats and swords and shit to defend
Yep.
their turf. It's turf war the game. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
as always with these types of mini games, I always have the luxury of waiting a little while before I involve myself in these. So I have the luxury of having completed multiple sub stories throughout the game and getting
yeah.
better people to defend my territory.
Which I will say that is a cool feature about this, and I mean, I guess it worked like this also in Yakuza 6 because, like I
Yeah,
said, I haven't played that, but like, yeah, as you do more sub stories and as you finish more of the game, the people that you help along the way join your crew that you can
yeah,
use in that mini game. That's kind of cool. It's like collecting Pokemon, sort of.
yeah. No, and all the Yakuza games have some element of that in them to a degree. And this is just I always have fun with these things. I know you didn't like it, but I think also I might have just been enamored with every time I win, hearing Majima, 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 Majima.
I mean, I did play it. It's just, it was, in my opinion, the weakest link. Like, there are so many
Oh
other
yeah,
great side missions and things that you can do, and it's like, playing through this game, you really don't need any other game series beyond this in some ways because it has a little bit of everything for you to do. You can go and play
oh yeah,
retro arcade games. You can go and watch, you know, interesting cabaret-esque
oh
videos. You
yeah,
can there's so
yeah.
many other things. You can go to the batting range. There's so many things you can do.
They're funny side note, since you happen to bring up the videos. Yeah. At one point when I was living at my grandmother's house,
Oh my God.
I had my system rig all set up in the living room because we were in between bedrooms at that point.
Mhm.
And I'm literally like watching one of these videos.
Oh my God.
And like my grandmother comes home and she's like, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, "It's it's stupid shit for a game."
That's when
And
you turn around and you start looking like Charlie Day in that one meme where you're just trying to explain all the
yeah,
interconnecting links and how you
yeah,
got there.
you literally need that. You need the threads because it's
Yeah.
Yakuza. There's always a thread.
I just picture your grandma walking in and then there's just this like, you know,
Bikini
attractive female.
clad Asian woman.
And she's just like, "What the fuck are you watching?" And you're just like, "There was an assassination and this little
Yeah.
girl and you start talking about little girls and
I need
dying
to
people
watch
and it's
all
like
these to get a construction crew member to defend my territory.
oh my God, poor grandma. That's fantastic.
She's probably seen worse.
Oh, sure, but that's just
But
you ever
the
you ever have that thought sometimes of like, okay, my deceased relatives are up there looking down on me and what are they
yeah.
looking down on? It's like
Yeah,
that.
I'm literally watching bikini-clad Asian women in a suggestive pornographic setting for a video game.
Dude, it's so funny.
Yeah, but
Um,
the but yeah, no, I mean these games have it a little bit of everything for everyone. Like, I mean, you also mentioned the retro arcade stuff. Like, literally every time I pop in a Yakuza, as soon as I get access to an arcade, I go see what old Sega games are available.
dude,
I'm
Japanese
like,
arcades are just shit.
yeah, man, I want to. I know you've been, so it's like I'm preaching to the choir here, but I want to go so bad.
Do it now. Do it now.
Yeah.
Don't wait. Get there. It's getting
Funny,
expensive.
funny side note with the arcades. A couple months ago, I went with my goddaughter to the Rockaway Mall, which is a mall located in our neck of the woods.
Mhm.
Um, and they have a store in there now. It's all just claw machines. So I'm
Really?
like, so of course she's 10. Was gonna be
Well, there
10,
goes
but she
$100.
she wanted to go to the claw machine place, so we went. And she's like, she couldn't get this keychain out of the claw machine. So I'm like, Jackie, let me try. I'm pretty good with these things, and utilizing all my skills I've developed over the past couple years playing Yakuza games, I was able to get not only the keychain she wanted, but four other
Oh
keychains
my God.
in the school. Like, she's like, how did you do that? I'm like, Uncle Matt plays a lot of claw machine. Like, because one of my little things I like to do in these Yakuza games is when I go to the UFOs, I let the UFO catchers. I like to get one of everything in the UFO catcher.
Yeah,
So I'm
well, at least in the
always
game, it'll usually work.
yeah, and so I've developed an instinct for it, I guess. But that lady at that store was so pissed when she's like, "You only had X amount of dollars," and I'm like, "Yeah, I just got lucky, I guess." And I'm like she was pissed. Like, he's
What's
like,
she gonna do
"How
about it? Tell
dare
you to put
me?"
them
Yeah,
back?
I'm like, dude, you know, like she spent probably like $10 on every keychain in that box,
It's
and
like,
I
oh
just
no,
got
your rigged
five
claw
for
machine
two
didn't
dollars.
fail.
Yeah, but I'm like, but it's just so funny. I'm like, thank you, Yakuza.
That's fantastic.
the But yeah, no, I mean, I truly do love these games. Um, and I mean,
What?
this, like you said, this game has so many twists and turns, and it's. I think I've yet, and I don't know if this, goes against my, the possibility of being a detective in my future one day, but the I have yet to figure out a Yakuza plot before it's been handed to me. The twists and turns are just that good. And you're like, who the
Yeah.
hell is this guy? Oh shit, he's the guy.
No, they always have
Damn.
some way of just absolutely like you're right. I mean, there's so many movies, games, TV shows, books, whatever, that you could just predict the story,
Yeah,
the outcome of it from the first 10 minutes, two
yeah,
chapters, whatever. These
I,
games continuously just I can't predict it either. It's I don't
yeah.
not even a
I
little
mean,
bit.
the opening of this game, you're introduced to the concept that there's a baby out there that's a key character, and I don't think I even got wind of who that baby turned out to be until they literally were about to tell me who it was. I was like, oh shit, and then they're like they have, there's secret parenting, and there's secret half siblings, and it all ties into, I mean, the character in the flashback at the very beginning, right off the bat is Kiryu's foster father and former member of the Toho clan.
Mhm.
But I mean, like, these games are always, the stories are just always great, and they're put
Yeah.
together very well, and the plot threads are handled very well,
Yeah.
and they always keep you like wanting more.
There's sometimes, I mean, like it's kind of funny because as much side content as this game pumps in, sometimes it's almost difficult to want to separate away from the main missions to go do them.
Oh yeah, there are times where you're just like, do I want to take a break right now?
But that's the beautiful thing about this game, and like what I was gonna say earlier is like, if you want to, like, you could play this game for 100 hours, and in that 100 hours, you're almost never bored because it's like, all right, I'm gonna go do a couple of side missions, and then all right, I get kind of bored with those side missions, but then maybe I'll go to the casino and I'll play some casino games, and then it's like I'm a little bored with that, so I'm gonna go play some baseball. It's like there's so many other things you
Oh,
can do. There's a million things.
I've spent countless hours at the batting cages in all these games.
Yeah, and not for nothing, even if you just continue doing the side missions, usually one side mission will lead you down such a rabbit hole of other shit that by the time you're done with it, it's like almost impossible to unravel the trail that you just went down.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do I start out on a sunny morning doing whatever, going to get food, and then all of a sudden in the evening, I'm fighting a bunch of Yakuza members dressed up in fucking diapers?
Oh, yeah. And it
That is a
won't be
real thing that happens in this game.
and it won't be the only time you encounter Yakuza members dressed in diapers. I can promise you that.
Oh, buddy.
I mean, these games are just, they're like, and it's so hard to explain them to people who just don't know or haven't
Yeah.
experienced them, because you're just like, yeah, I was, um, I mean, in the last game, racing my model cars, or fucking this game, I'm running a cabaret club, which is a great mini game.
Oh, that is honestly like 10 out of 10 minigame. It seems
Oh,
weird. It seems weird. I'm sure to a lot of guys out there, it might seem weird. It is so much fun.
oh, it is. It's so much fun picking out what these girls are gonna wear and getting their nails done.
It's a strategy to it, man.
It is. Like I was explaining it to Amber earlier, because I was like, "Oh, I'm really excited to talk about the Cabaret Grand Prix," and she's like, "The
Dude.
what?" And I'm like, "So you're running a cabaret club, and you're hosting at the cabaret club. You got to make sure all the girls are set to the right tables for the guys with the right moods and the type of women they like. Make sure they
I'm about to
spend
start crying.
money, and like, you
Dude,
just
it
really
turns
want your club to be the best, and you want your girls to be the best."
it will turn the straightest of men into any episode of the Queer Eye.
Yeah.
So you are sitting there and you're like, no, that is so not her color, and you're just
Yeah,
like,
and then you get to get to know the girls of the club more, take them out places,
and honestly, some of them have
and
very good storylines.
help them with their problems. Make sure
Yeah,
they're showing up to work on their best. You're like, it's the way we're describing it makes it sound like we're playing a pimp, but Kiryu's not a pimp. He's a gentleman.
a little bit of both. But he is a gentleman. He is
Yeah,
like, because you're stepping into this role of basically the club owner slash pimp slash recruiter slash whatever, but
yeah,
you're like their father figure,
yeah, yeah.
and
But
it's just like,
like, so I have friends who are in the ace community, the asexual,
yeah,
and that's their thing. Well, more power to them. I don't. I'm pro everybody. I like everybody to have a fair shot at whatever they want in life.
yeah,
But whether you know this or not, this Kiryu is a in the ace gamer community.
really.
Kiryu is a huge figure because he's always just looking out for everyone's best intentions, and without putting himself in any situations, or he's never engaging with any of these girls. He's just looking out for them, and it's like you said, he's like a father protective figure for all these people, including men and women.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, I mean, like they kind of got that out of the way in the first game in playing Kiwami 1. Like
Yeah,
he had a love of his life, and
yeah,
she had her story arc that I'm not going to get into. Go listen to the first episode or go play the game.
yeah,
But he had that, and he loved her and whatever, and he's not out there trying to hook up with everybody under the
yeah.
sun, and I
No,
really appreciate that about him as a character. He's a very
yeah,
honest, genuine, sweet
yeah.
dude who is
And
also just a top tier ass kicker.
there is a little, will they, won't they aspect, I think, with him and Kaoru Sayama in this game. Because
Yeah,
she's very much kind of like a female foil to Kiryu. She's a strong, very strong-willed individual, and there is a like a will they, won't they aspect there. But it's not
yeah,
like
but you gotta
blatant. It
have some
doesn't
sort
ta-
of
it doesn't
romantic
take
interest.
over. Yeah, but it's not blatant. It doesn't take over the plot like it would in other media.
Yeah,
Like it's just you. There's a strong mutual respect,
yeah, and
which
I mean,
I
for
love that in these games.
as much of these games really do go kind of like over the top with some of their antics and some of their cut scenes and plot twists, and it's like some of it's like super dramatic, like almost Bollywood style, but at the
Yeah.
same time they really do know tact.
Oh
And
yeah.
the writing for just about everything in this game is so beautifully composed. It's like, oh my god, the the writing itself, the dialogue itself, none of that is ever too over the top. The voice acting and the body language, sure, but that just makes it entertaining.
Yeah.
But the story and the actual writing and the way that it flows and follows is just compelling.
Mm. Oh, 100%. And obviously we don't want to go into spoiler territory. We don't want to, we want people to discover the ins and outs and see all this stuff for themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's so worth, anybody who's listening and you haven't played these games, please give them a shot. Like, because
At least the first two.
there's literally something in it for everybody.
Yeah, at least the
And
first two.
oh yeah, and I mean I'll die on this platform when I say, if you, yeah, I know you did 1 and 2. Start with 0. If
Yeah.
you're if because if 0 doesn't hook you, like I literally cannot wait for you to play 0. Because like I always say, it's still probably my favorite in the series.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
and
excited to play 0 and 6.
6 is great too. I mean, I don't know where you're at with 4, but I love 4 and I love 5 as well too.
I'm on the
Like
third character in
okay,
4.
okay, yeah, which is we'll talk more about that when we do 4.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
one of my favorite things about that game is the multiple protagonists angle.
Yeah.
Um,
It's I mean, it's really good. It takes a little bit of getting used to. I think the way that they write it is so beautiful, and we will discuss it more in 4.
yeah.
It was nice to take a step away from just Kazuma Kiryu
Hmm.
after the third game, and the first Kiwami 1 is a fantastic game. I forget what I rated it on that episode. If you want to hear my rating, go listen to that episode as well as Matt's rating. But like Kiwami 2 is better. It is better.
It
For
is.
me,
It is.
it sets the bar. I mean, it is one of the top 3 Yakuza games on a lot of people's lists. And what a fucking slap in the face it is to go from 2 to 3.
Oh yeah. I mean,
But
to be
oh my
fair
god,
though, we are playing Kiwami 2 and not Yakuza 2
this is true.
because Yakuza 2 to Yakuza 3, you would have been like, oh, okay, this is there's some refined factors here because I went back after I played Kiwami 2 and 3. I went back to see how OG Yakuza 2 holds up. And I'm like, okay, like if I had played this, I wouldn't have been so hard on 3. 3 is
Yeah,
the hardest to get through though. Like
yeah.
especially playing Kiwami 1 and 2 first. Like I mean, we'll talk about 3 when we get to it, but it is jarring to go from Kiwami 2 to Yakuza 3.
And that you make a really fair point because we are going from Kiwami 1 and 2, which is basically there from the
Entirely
ground up.
rebuilt. Yeah.
Think of like Resident Evil 4 remake style rebuild, like
Yeah.
ground up.
Yeah.
And they
Graphically, mechanically, any league you can think of.
yeah, and we go from that with
Do
with
just a
Kiwami 2,
remaster.
yeah, to the remaster, which is just a not even really graphically enhanced. I mean, it is, but it isn't. But it's just like a
Yeah.
whatever master of the third, fourth, and fifth game. But like Kiwami 2, not for nothing, Yakuza 2
Hmm.
has the coolest protagonist. I mean, antagonist.
Yeah.
It's like Ryuji Goda. To get back on track with actual Yakuza 2, Ryuji Goda is the
Oh,
shit.
he's a beast.
Yeah,
He's a beast, and it's awesome, just because I mean, you're hearing Dragon of Kanzai, Dragon of Dojima. To have Dragon in your title, it symbolizes that you're at the top of your game.
yeah. And
And
every time they put him on screen, like, I don't
he
really ever
commands
use the word.
attention.
He does. I don't really ever use the word aura, but I mean, dude, that dude just fucking drips it.
Well, I mean, these games literally have aura when you fight.
Oh yeah, literally, yeah.
You're entitled to use it here.
Like he is the coolest dude in the room always.
Oh yeah.
And then unless it's Kazuma Kiryu in the
I
room,
mean,
then it's
I
yeah.
mean,
But then you put the two of them in the room.
and it's also like, like I mean, just with how badass, we're not trying to start a Ryuji Goto fan club here, but like he's trying to usher in a new age of Yakuza,
Yeah,
and like he's a Japanese character, you know, rising up through the Yakuza ranks, but he's got the street he's got the street punk dyed blonde hair, like
yeah,
he doesn't have the conventions of your typical Yakuza, like he's not wearing the fancy suits and the like
yeah, yeah.
he's built like a street thug, but he's got that code of honor and conduct, and like he's the lawful evil to Kiryu Kazuma's lawful good.
To be fair, the guy's built like a fucking Buick. I
Oh,
mean, the
he
guy is a
is.
tank.
He is a tank. And
I've seen
like,
refrigerators smaller than him.
yeah, exactly. And you have like, he definitely stands out because like I think for the most part the rest of the villains in this game are kind of like your typical, like you have the the Omi Alliance captains that are scheming behind their back. You have one character that comes to mind is Torosuke Sengoku, he's one of the Omi four kings, but he's kind of working behind the scenes trying to shift angles, and he's kind of like that sleazy bad guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, like he if I remember correctly, I think he gets his comeuppance when he mouths off to Ryuji Goto. But
Dude,
you have like the typical Yakuza villains, and then you have Ryuji Goto just stands out because he's so much different than
yeah,
what we're used to, and even I mean the Korean mafia characters are just they're very interesting and compelling in their own right, especially as far as the twists and turns in the narrative goes with them.
for sure.
You know.
Some of the villains in this game really seem like caricatures of what you would expect a villain to be
Hmm.
in this context, and it's almost like Power Rangers villains. Some
Oh
of them are
yeah,
kind of over the top, and you have all these villains, all these people in the Omi Alliance and the Korean Mafia, and these people that stand out as villains, and they're villains
yeah,
because you can just kind of tell by looking at them. But they're always kind of like, yeah, let's get down, like let's take down the Tojo clan, yeah.
yeah,
And then you have Ryuji Goto, who does stand out as like kind of like a voice of reason. He's like, well, we can't just destroy them. He's like, that'll
yeah.
ruin everything. And then he's, it's yeah,
He's like
it's just cool.
bringing back to your Power Rangers reference there. He's like the evil Green Ranger, like
Yeah, he kind of
he's
is.
you want like because you want him and Kiryu to be on the same team because you can picture it in your head.
Yeah,
Because he's lawful evil, Kiryu's lawful good, but you can see there are certain lines that they both respect and won't cross. So it's almost like you want them to work together. And I mean, at least when I was a kid, I was so happy when the Green Ranger joined up with the regular Rangers. 'Cause Green Ranger was a badass.
dude, you literally have a triangle of characters on that chart. So you have Kiryu as lawful good, you have Ryuji as lawful evil, and then you have Goro Majima as chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Like it's the perfect triangle.
No, Majima's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, but I'm gonna do it my way. Like,
Yeah, it's it. Oh my god,
God,
he's the
I
best.
love Majima. Now,
He's so funny.
speaking of Majima, did you play the Majima side story?
Probably again now. Okay, for anybody listening, it has been a few years since I played this game, and I
Okay.
was super busy doing a lot of homework and other things I've been rushing to get done, and I kind of dropped the ball on my recap of this. So everything that I'm doing is going off the top of my head.
Okay. Fair enough.
I did get as close to 100%ing this game back when
Okay.
I did play it though. So I don't think I missed much of anything. I just
Okay.
didn't want to finish all of what do they call it? Kamurocho Hills.
Yeah. Well, so there's an alternate for those who haven't played, there's an alternate section in the main menu of this game that lets you play as Majima for a short little side story bit. And it really this is one of those things like I'm like, I recommend anybody starting the series to start with Zero because this side story really pays off if you've gone through Majima's events in Zero. Because, for those of you who don't know, Yakuza Zero, you play as both Kiryu and Majima. So it sets up both their character origins. And
Which is
this
awesome.
side this side bit brings kind of a full circle closure to Majima's story from Yakuza Zero. It really has a huge emotional payoff for those who are deeply invested in the story and characters of these games. The first time I played Kiwami 2, I was like, "Oh my God, like this is so crazy. This is big emotional moment. Like I'm so happy." Like, there are a few times in this game series where some of the more dramatic elements in these games have brought me close to tears. And like
Dude,
if you get invested in these characters, there are plenty of moments like this in these games.
there's not
So
a lot of games out there that can honestly make me laugh, damn near cry,
yeah,
get mad, and then just feel generally overall emotional in one cutscene.
yeah, no, and
These games
this
nail it.
this games do it. Yeah, I mean, you know, I, Rob, you'll catch up, but eventually. But like having played through some of the more recent entries, seeing where characters have gone to, where they've progressed in their character arcs, there's a lot of emotional
hmm
payoff and development for a lot of these characters, and
I was
and
I
you're
was just
watching them grow
saying,
up.
yeah. I was just saying in my episode on I think Final Fantasy, how like I'm a huge sucker for any time there's any kind of like nostalgia trip or like time loop or anything like that. So one thing that I'm very excited for with these games is the fact that you do get to, because you are building a relationship with these characters in your brain as
Oh
you play
yeah,
through these games. You're seeing oh God, what's her name? I can't remember her name. The girl, the little girl.
Haruka.
Thank you. You see Haruka when she's like 6 years old in
Yeah,
the first game, and then later on she becomes like a pop star as an adult. It's like
yeah.
you're literally raising her
I
as you
mean,
go through this game
we
franchise.
will definitely cover that when we do your episode on Yakuza 6
Yeah.
because Haruka Popstar or Yakuza 5, but Haruka Popstar is one of my favorite fucking things about Yakuza 5. In in fact, if anyone from Rio Studios ever hears this, I think there is a very big demand for a spin-off game where you're not necessarily Haruka, but a pop singer who fights at night and sings during the day. I'm here for it. Make that game.
Dude, it sounds almost like one of those like a Persona spinoff, to be honest
it,
with you.
it's literally like a Persona-esque or like a Sailor Moon-esque.
Oh,
like,
that would be badass.
I'm like I had so much fun with that mini game, but we'll talk about that down the road.
Yeah, we'll
But
get there.
yeah, I mean this game's great. The mini games are great. The sub stories are so as always, the sub stories are a blast. You get all these interesting, crazy. I mean, you mentioned I forget the character's name, but Yakuza in a diaper. Uh,
Yeah.
he shows up in many games down the line.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I never found him in three because I mean I don't know if he was ever in three, but three also, like I think I said in the last episode, has the least amount of side content
yeah. It's got the
completed for
least
me.
amount of
It
sub
ugh,
stories. It's got the least amount of mini games. I mean, it's like like I said, it's a sequel to the original two Yakuza games, which weren't as built up as
yeah.
the Kiwami versions are. And you're at a good point now because you're going. through 4 and 5, which are, big steps up from where the original three Yakuza games were.
Yeah.
And, like it's only uphill from there, really.
I think in the second game in two, that was
Mhm.
when they introduced what is it called in the game, Sotenbori or Dotonbori? You could go to the second city, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So in Yakuza 1, you could only be in Kamurocho, which is like the
Yes.
red light district of Tokyo, but then in Yakuza 2,
Mhm.
they give you the second city area you can go to, which is actually in Osaka
Mhm.
in real life, but
Yeah.
you know they give you
You have
one of
the
the real one.
river and the bridges and
Yeah,
yeah.
I've been there in real life since
Mhm.
playing the game, and oh my fucking god, did they nail it?
Yeah.
It's like it's
It's basically a
spot on.
miniaturized version of that area.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was recently playing Persona 5 Strikers, which is a
Okay.
spin-off of Persona 5. Great game. I had a lot of fun with it. But there's a point where you go to Osaka,
Oh, really?
and I'm like, holy shit, it feels like I'm in Sotenbori. Because I'm on that bridge and I'm by those buildings, and they have the fucking the restaurant with a giant fucking crab on top. I'm like,
Yes.
whoa, this is personas in my Yakuza. What's going on?
Dude, I'll tell you from personal experience, the nightlife there goes off.
Oh yeah,
It's crazy.
that's what I've heard. I've heard that is where it is happening.
It is such a cool like I mean it's kind of like a super touristy spot, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
so you're gonna have your super touristy places.
Hmm.
But you don't have to go very far to get right outside of the touristy shit. And that dude, Dotonbori is a blast. If you ever get the chance to go spend a couple of weeks in Japan, I mean, definitely do. You yourself, buddy, you, my friend, you need to stay in Akihabara. You have to.
I'll
That
add it
is
to the
that is the
list.
that is the
'Cause,
video game and anime mecca of
oh,
Japan.
that sounds
You
great.
have to. There's a store there called Super Potato. You gotta check it out. It's a three-story retro game shop, bro. It is
Oh
the fucking
man.
shit. But anyway, so you go there
Hmm.
and go to Dotonbori,
All
and you're
right,
gonna love it.
I'm
But
down.
this game, I mean, the fact that they now opened up an entire second city for you to go to, it
Yes.
added so much more side content and all the sub stories and everything. And then like I can't remember everything that there is to do in the second city,
Hmm.
but all I remember, like all I can say off the top of my head is that it definitely adds a lot. There's a whole new set of lockers for you to unlock. There's a whole new just world for you to explore. And
So
like,
I've got some great news for you in that
yeah,
aspect, Ram, because
yeah.
they reused the Sotenbori map from
Ooh.
Yakuza Zero.
Ooh.
So you're going to be able to see all that again in Yakuza Zero because, like I said, this game uses the same engine as Zero, and you reused a lot of elements from Zero in it.
Hell yeah.
So you're definitely going to get that, and you're also going to get that in Yakuza 5 as well.
Okay.
Because
Didn't they? So,
Sotenbori does become like a prominent side spot besides Kamurocho in the series.
cool. Yeah, because I
Uh,
mean, the one thing about the Yakuza series, and I think I said this in the first episode that we did with this series, is like this game franchise, in my opinion, for my money, is the number one franchise at making a world feel lived in.
oh yeah, 100%. I
Like,
mean,
there's
as
no
far
point
as
in this
I've
game where
experienced,
yeah, like some games you can play and they just kind of feel empty, and like you very much know that you're playing a single player game, and it kind of
hmm
takes you out of that immersion.
hmm
These games, I get lost in these things.
oh yeah, it's I mean, not to bring in, it does give you the sense of these characters are living their lives, and like you're in a very lived in world. It's almost like in, it's like how you to bring up like a current game that's very popular, it's almost like, you walking into a town in Skyrim and everybody has their routines, everybody's going about their activities. Like, it does, the rest of the world can kind of feel empty at times, but in the populated areas, there's very, very much like there's an immersion. And there's
Yeah,
definitely a huge immersion in these games. Like, everything feels like you're in this world, and it helps that they've done so well at accurately representing the country they live in, the developers, Japan,
yeah,
because these are great representations. I mean, you just said it yourself when you visited Osaka. You're like, holy shit, like, this
yeah,
this this feels like the real deal, and it's great that they're able to provide that. It's just, I mean, it's for a similar another, for a similar modern game. It's kind of like how what Sony did with the newer Spider-Man games.
yeah,
It's like you feel like you're in New York.
yeah.
Like it's
Or
not in a
even like
hundred.
what
It's
Grand
not in
Theft
a
Auto did
hundred.
10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, well, and I guarantee we'll feel that again when GTA 6 eventually does make its way.
I'll be in a nursing home playing that.
Oh God. But when they announced it, it got pushed back again. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my god.
We've gotten so many versions of GTA 5. Where are you, GTA 6?
I'm just waiting to see the absolute fucking landslide of games that get announced now that GTA has been pushed back.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna happen. There's just gonna be a waterfall of release dates coming for the fall.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, so this game, so Yakuza Kiwami 2.
Hmm.
I read somewhere, so it uses the engine from Zero.
Hmm.
Does that also use the same engine from 6? Which came first, Zero or 6?
Zero. 6 came first.
6, okay, because I heard that they use the engine from 6, so that makes sense. Because one thing that I liked about this game a lot, especially over the other games in the series, is the fact that you can eat to gain experience.
Yeah.
Um, so these games, kind of like I don't want to say kind of like a Final Fantasy,
Oh, you
but
know what? I just fact checked it myself because I don't like to leave things where I could possibly be wrong. And 6 came out after 0.
oh, okay.
So Zero's
Yep.
initial release was 2015, and Six's initial release was 2016.
When the hell did 5 come out?
Great
For
question.
that matter, when the hell did 4 come out?
5 was 2012, and 4 was 2010.
No way.
So you're playing a 15-year-old game currently in Yakuza 4.
I could have swore 2010 games look better than that. I'm sorry, that's not a dig at RGG. I mean, I just damn. 4 does look pretty good. 3 looks like ass.
Well, 3 was a while back now.
3 was what, like 2008?
2009.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but you know what? Like, and I'm gonna, people are gonna give me flack for this at some point, but like, it's like I always say, man, like, Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games of all time. When you look at
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII next to Final Fantasy VIII, which just came out a year after, I mean, Final Fantasy VIII looks crazy better compared to Final Fantasy VII. Sometimes all it takes is a year and stuff just gets going and it's like that much better.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm just messed up in my memory and my timeline of events with certain things, but I'm thinking to myself, you know, like do Battlefield Bad Company 1, right? Now,
Hmm.
granted, totally different genre, totally different developer. Look at the character models in like
Yeah.
Battlefield Bad Company 1, which came out in what, like 2007? And then
Um,
look at the character
Something like
models
that.
of the thugs and the animations in fucking Yakuza 3 remaster. Bro, it looks like shit. I
Yeah.
thought I thought Yakuza 3 came out in like 2005.
I mean, to that. I mean, but yeah, but you know what? Like, sometimes these companies like they they kind of stick with something for a while, and then they're like, okay, now it's time we step it up. I mean, some of the other
Yeah,
stuff that was out in 2009, which I mean, not to slight against Ryu or slight against anybody else, but like, I mean, the first Arkham Asylum game was 2009. Assassin's Creed 2 was 2009. Modern Warfare 2, 2009. Borderlands. So I mean,
yeah,
I mean, and like Dragon Age Origins, from BioWare, yeah, stuff, a lot of different looking stuff with different levels of detail, and
yeah,
I mean, I think they were, I think a lot of these game companies also like to play conservatively, as far as big updates to how things work in games.
yeah. And I mean,
And
these games,
if I remember correctly, I don't think three had as good as a reception initially as they wanted, and I
yeah.
think that's probably why they pushed things to the next level from that point on.
Well, they definitely did ramp it up. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'll say this, like when it comes to, because like I didn't play the original two, and I know this is an episode about two, and we keep getting sidetracked on three and four and six and zero, but uh I understand that their graphical capabilities for something as petty as some character models, when especially when all you're going to be doing is just kicking the shit out of them, is not that big of a deal when they did put so much effort, time and effort into the cinematics and the writing and the world
Yeah.
building and like all these
And
other
I
things. Because even back
and
then, this franchise, like what other franchise can you think of that 15, 16, 17 years ago you could explore almost every building in an entire city
yeah,
area?
exactly.
So
There's a lot to be said about it. And I mean, and there's and it's like this in a lot of games. And it's like I always say you can always tell who's going to be a main character and who's not important based on what their
yeah,
character models look like in a Yakuza game.
absolutely. And especially what their
Because
animations are.
yeah, if you're like, okay, this guy literally is like a bit, this guy is obviously modeled after a big name voice actor. His character design's flawless. Like, okay, he's going to be throughout the game. This guy looks like I'm going to suplex him, and that'll be the end of
Pretty much.
it.
Does their
So,
hair actually look like there's
attention
any
to,
detail
yeah,
to it?
it's a thing, attention to detail where it matters.
For sure.
But I mean, but this, like, Yakuza 2 is a great game. Um,
100%.
Kiwami 2. Um, and once again, this is a great world with great characters. I just love it. I just love it.
It's
And it's just fantastic. And there is one more big question I have to ask you about Yakuza 2. And it's
what
a
do you got?
question if I remember correctly, I probably asked you about Kiwami 1, and I'll probably continue to ask you as we progress through these games.
Okay.
Did you did you beat the challenge of Joe Amon
In
and
the
his
Coliseum.
Amon brothers? Because
I
the Amon brothers are the recurring secret bosses of all these games.
I don't think I did.
the
Where was
and
this?
So usually it's usually the final sub story.
Oh,
Um, I'd have to let me pull up this real quick because I was looking at Joe Amon earlier.
I was gonna say it wasn't a
Uh,
Coliseum fight, was it?
so let's see. Um, no, it's not a Coliseum fight. It's he is uh so basically Joe Amon and his three apprentices uh try to track down Kiryu to try to beat him. It's Joe Amon's usual thing. I think this is as far as as far as where you are in the chronological, this would be the first time he's had apprentices.
Okay.
But the it's I think it's part of the Komaki storyline, the guy who teaches you all the moves,
Okay.
because these guys steal his secret scroll, and Kiryu has to go fight the three apprentices and then eventually Joe Amon himself.
Oh
And
man.
he was a secret boss in one. He's in basically every game. He's always crazy, super intense fight. Usually the fights are in different stages where utilize different moves and different fighting styles as the fight goes on.
I'm gonna have to go
Some
back
of
and check to see if I did that because I mean I'm just genuinely glad that these games do that. But
Yeah, like
I don't know if I
he
did
is
that.
he is an assassin and master martial artist who views Kiryu as his ultimate rival and must defeat Kiryu. And I think if I remember correctly for Yakuza 2, he tells Kiryu that after Kiryu defeated him in Yakuza 1, that he trained in Mexico in the Himalayas and swam laps on Iceland's frozen cliffs, and he's
This
like,
sounds really familiar actually. I might have done that. I don't remember.
and he's just like, I mean, these fights are a huge, huge pain in the ass. But I always like, because it's like I don't yeah, I love Kiryu so much. I don't want him to be bested by anyone else.
Oh yeah,
So
no.
I'm like, no, we have to prevail. We have, so I always make sure to beat Amon, or him and his apprentices, or whoever it might be, depending on which game. But he is just he's a pain in the ass.
With that being said, what you just said about you love Kiryu so much you don't want to see anybody best him or whatever like that, it makes me nervous, and I'm gonna say this, and please don't spoil anything going forward because I want to play through these games, but like as you stated before, we play these games from the beginning and we watch these characters grow and get older, and what scares me and what I'm afraid to see and what's gonna make me sad is to see Kiryu kind of reach an age where he's no longer the man, the myth, the legend, the dragon of Dojima. But like that scene in Batman Beyond when Batman kind of gets his ass kicked and then pulls a gun out
Oh
because he
yeah,
sees
yeah.
I'm like, that better not fucking be Kiryu at any point. Like, it's gonna break my heart.
I, my lips are sealed, and
Ah,
because not only do I want you to experience whatever's going to happen, but it is just so worth it to go through these games and
yeah.
see how things play out and see the growth that these characters go through. And,
These games
I
are like
mean,
soap operas for men or for
they
anybody. I'm not
really
gonna say
are.
for men, but like
They,
it's just
they
for
are.
anybody.
They are crime soap operas.
Dude, yeah. They're so
and
good
it's
too.
and it's so funny because I think through a lot of media, I think um I think people think that the Japanese are very hardened and almost like solemn and uptight, maybe. Like at least that's how they're portrayed, I think, a lot of time,
Yeah.
and particularly our media.
Oh yeah.
But like playing these games, like I'm like, no, the Japanese are like really emotional. They just
Yeah.
know when's the right time,
Well,
and when.
it's a very strict culture in some ways. They have rules, they have, it's their culture. They're very
Yeah,
serious with a lot of things, but at the same time, it is a kawaii culture. It's very cute, it's very fun, it's very be yourself. It's like when you go there, you'll see people, a lot of people, salarymen dressed in suits. You'll see some people in streetwear, but you're also going to see people dressed straight up like anime characters. And it's just
yeah,
like that's, what you see in the Yakuza games really does, art imitates life. And it
yeah.
is really like that in a lot of places, especially in Tokyo.
Like and I mean, and for people who aren't you know familiar with these types of games, or like I'm a big anime guy, like so I watch a lot of anime, and people who aren't familiar with that media outlet, like the Japanese have like they're really good. at allowing both men and women characters to express their feelings and
Yeah,
like in powerful, meaningful ways.
yeah.
Where,
I think
a lot of times in our media, a man expresses his feelings through anger.
yeah.
And then if there's tears, oh, he's a wuss. But like, you see in these games, you see Kazuma Kiryu cry.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing emasculating about it. You're like
I
he's
think
so strong.
I think what this game franchise does very well is it humanizes people,
Hmm.
and Japanese people especially, because obviously everybody in this game is Japanese, but like you're saying, it's a
Or
culture that's
Korean.
very, or Korean. But it's a culture that's very known for being strict and, very, I don't know, just like in the way that it's represented in Western media, like you're saying, it's very strict, it's very,
Rigid.
unhumorous, it's very rigid.
Yeah.
And like if you saw the
And this
show,
shows all the opposite ends of that.
it's just we're all fucking people.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, we have a lot of it here in the West with the toxic masculinity, like men aren't allowed
Oh
to
yeah,
cry and we're not allowed to express emotion. But like these games, like I'm like the toughest guy in the room is crying and
yeah.
nobody's calling him a wimp because they're gonna get suplexed into the side of the car if they do. You know?
Oh
But
my god.
like it's nice to have a protagonist who is in touch with his feelings, is able to cry, is pro and supportive of women.
Yeah.
And like we don't get a lot of that in Western media all the time.
Yeah, and he can
You know?
absolutely rock the karaoke machine.
Hell yeah. Fucking Baka Mitai all day. That's one of my traditions. Every time I play a Yakuza game, I find a karaoke bar and I Baka Mitai.
It's a good tradition.
It is. Fucking, even my fiance has started to learn that she just has to put up with sometimes when Baka Mitai comes on the iPod in the car, you just got to sit there and listen through Baka Mitai.
I think we should all have a group event where we all go to the city or something and do karaoke, and I know exactly what
Oh,
you and I are going to sing together.
we're gonna sing Baka Mitai. We're gonna butcher it, but we're gonna sing it.
Absolutely, I'll fucking belt that shit.
That's the only Japanese song I know all the words to.
I can sing tequila in Japanese.
There you go.
Oh,
But
all
no,
right,
these
buddy.
games are great. I love these
Yeah.
games. This game gets a perfect score from me because I know you're going to ask that. Uh, this game, perfect score.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, we should probably start wrapping things up. I mean, we could talk about the Yakuza games for days on end, but the
I could.
unfortunate fact of the matter is that it is 11 o'clock at night right now, and I got to get up early for work tomorrow. I
Yep.
love that we got together to talk about this though, and I
Yeah,
had
I'm
such a good
glad we
time,
figured out a time.
dude.
We'll be back to talk about Yakuza 3 whenever you have time from your various
That'll be
projects.
like a 25-minute episode.
We suffered through this. We love these characters, but we suffered through this.
Talk about a weakest link. Jesus Christ.
It really is. It is
But
sad. I mean, because there's some good elements, but it's just it is. It is what it is.
but I
Like,
mean, by the time you get there, having gotten there by playing the games, like you're not going to start with three. You're never going to start
no,
with. You'd have no fucking clue what's going on.
no.
But so by the time you get there, you've seen what this game franchise is capable of, and you're like, all right, you know what? Let me just stick this out. It's gonna
Yeah,
get better.
you just power through it to get to the next chain of events.
Exactly.
It's exactly what I did when I played it. Like,
Same. That's why I was like, I'm just doing the storyline. Once this is over,
yeah,
I'm fucking done.
yeah. I mean, honestly, we could probably do 3 and 4 in a single episode because
Probably.
the coverage of 3 is just going to be a side note on the bigger and better thing, which would in that case is definitely 4.
All that I'm gonna do with 3 is just praise the beauty of the tropical beach scene at the
Oh
Okinawa
yeah,
orphanage. Like that's, but
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
get into that in another
yeah. Of
episode. But
course.
yeah, I was gonna say, so we like to make some fun scales of what to rate shit out of on this show. So I was gonna say, is there anything better to rate this game out of than 10 billion yen?
Let's see. Besides 10 billion yen, ooh, that's a tough call.
How many cabaret girls do you employ?
I think you can have five at a time if I remember correctly.
10 billion yen is more fun.
10 million is more fun. I could give it five Dragon of Kansai's out of five.
Five Dragon of Kansai makes up one Dragon of Kansai.
Because I do love me some Ryuji Goda.
Oh, dude, he's great.
Yeah.
Um, so out of 10 billion yen, though, what would you rate Yakuza Kiwami to?
10 billion yen.
You're giving it 10 billion yen?
I'm giving it 10 billion yen.
That is a really good score. That is a
Eh,
damn perfect score. I
that
think
is that is how I feel about Kiwami too.
that's fair. I think that is a good score. I'm not going to match your score. I'm going to give it 9,750,000,001 yen, and it
Hmm.
loses those points only because of that Kamurocho Hills mini game that I just really didn't enjoy all that
Majima,
much.
no.
Love Majima, don't like his mini game. But I mean,
That's fair.
9.75.
It's still a damn good score.
Yeah, this game is just shy of a masterpiece. I'll call it a masterpiece even because that minigame is entirely optional, except for I think one mission. You have to do it once, I think. But other than
Yeah.
that, it's entirely optional. So you can
Yeah.
avoid that altogether and just enjoy what's actually good about this game, which is everything.
Yes.
Everything else.
100%.
But all right,
Uh,
buddy. Well, I greatly appreciate you joining me again, and I definitely want to give you your opportunity now to shout out anything you want to shout out. Drop your plugs.
Anybody out there, if you're listening to this, play Yakuza. Start with zero. Play it. You'll love it. I promise. If you're in the North New Jersey area, come to Nemesis Comics and Games. If you're into comic books, Magic the Gathering, we've got it. I'll probably be there. Other than that, try new things, play new games, get out there, enjoy yourself, live your life.
If you walk into the store and you see a guy with a bunch of tattoos, just start singing Japanese at him, and he'll
Yeah,
probably
there
join
you
you.
go. Yeah, Bagami Tai all day.
But all right, buddy. I very
All
much
right.
appreciate you again. I'll keep saying it. Thank you.
No, thank you for
So,
having me, man. I look forward to doing these because A, I love video games, and B, I love Yakuza.
hell yeah, dude. But I will definitely, if you send me the information for Nemesis Comics and Games, Instagram, website, and everything, I will leave all of that information in the description below if anybody wants to check them out. And if anybody enjoyed listening to this episode, which I hope you did because we had a really great time talking and everything,
Yeah, I had a blast.
please leave a like, leave a follow, subscribe, leave a comment. Actually, that would very much help me out. I'm trying to expand the exposure on this show quite a bit. I've been posting a lot and making some reels, having some fun with that. But yeah, if you enjoyed what you heard, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and go check me out over at thebardsofgaming.com where you can find links to all my socials, including Instagram, where I am definitely most active, which is at the Bards of Gaming, Twitter or X at 2bardsofgaming with the number 2, and you can find me on Twitch over at Robert. But that's about all I have to say, and I hope you all have a fantastic night. Peace out.